Welcome back, Rangers Ed family. I'm your host, Little Ed, and we are here with you live this week for episode 162.5, sponsored by Lucarelli Law. If you're in New York or Florida and you need some legal advice, reach out to Dom Lucarelli and tell him Rangers Ed sent you. I'm joined by my co-host, as usual, Coach Ed. It's going to be a little shortened episode tonight, so we won't be doing all of our usual segments, but we will be joined in a few minutes by our special guest, Siobhan Nolan, from the Hockey News in Philadelphia to discuss the overachieving Flyers this season. I guess you might think due to the title of our episode, we're bringing her on just to chirp her, but that's not true. We want to pick her brain about, like I said, the overachieving Flyers and how the season ended and what we can look forward to next year as a rival. Hopefully the Rangers can make a resurgence as well. But before we bring her on, Coach, are you looking forward to seeing your daughter this weekend?
Yeah, very excited.
Tomorrow morning.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
I said as we get ready to fly out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going in the afternoon. I'll be getting there about 9 at night, but I'm very excited about going, as always, and get a little golf in, a few hugs and kisses, and everything will be good.
For sure. So, as you guys might not know, or if you're a new listener, my sister, Coach Ed's daughter, is expecting a baby girl beginning of July. So we're going down to Jacksonville this weekend for her baby shower and to hang out for the weekend, play some golf with Mike, my brother-in-law and business partner, of course. And I guess what? My fantasy league partner, manager, whatever you want to call it.
So we got to do something about that dual. It's like a dual citizenship. That's
I didn't look at it. I didn't look at it at all for the entire season.
So you shouldn't be a part of it. That's not fair. What you do the
I'm
draft?
Not a part of
anything.
It. I just sponsor the team. That's how it works. If I sponsor the league, you need a team name called the Little Ed's Workshoppers in there. It's gonna be fun for sure. Shout out to EA the PA. We haven't had her on in a while to discuss any injuries on the show. But maybe next season if she's not too busy with her new baby girl. So let's just bring on our guest, not waste any time. Siobhan is a reporter for the Flyers representing the Hockey News. Other than her articles, you can find her mainly on X at SG Nolan. Welcome back, Siobhan, to the show. How you doing?
I can't hear you guys at all.
Okay.
I'm gonna be so real. I don't know if it's a me issue, but
can you hear me at all right now?
I can't hear anything. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
All right, I'm gonna see if my producers can help you out. So just give us a few minutes, and me and Coach Ed will kill some time. All right, Coach.
It's a little glitch, but
let's see what we could do here.
I mean, the playoffs are heating up, huh? It's getting exciting.
Definitely getting exciting. We got a big game tonight.
They're on the brink.
For sure. We got a big game tonight. Hopefully the Wild can hold out here. We were talking about it before the show backstage. But it's definitely looking gloom. Colorado's a powerhouse for sure, without a doubt. I'm trying to message Siobhan here, so Coach, you're gonna have to try to carry us for a second.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the playoffs, and like I said last week, the thing that drives me crazy is they sit there and they blow up like one team, and they're all over Montreal. It's great. They're this, they're that, and Buffalo ends up winning. Buffalo is, even in the series, it's a game. I don't care whether they should have won or they, stole a game. It's the series is 2-2, and they could very easily win in Buffalo tomorrow night. So they always give these guys so much credit. I mean, yeah, Canadians are doing a great job, and Anaheim's doing a great job, but they're good games, and it's not like. And again, they're saying, "Oh, Anaheim's dominated. They should have won game one," but they didn't. Should have a lot, but they didn't.
Yeah, that's a very interesting series. Also,
what's that?
That's a very interesting series. Also, everyone was counting out Vegas because Mark Stone's injury again, and blah blah blah. It's definitely been a fun playoff. Very unpredictable.
that Doriev or whatever. Did you see that play where he pickpocketed that guy? Thought he was breaking out of the zone, and he got him. He skated behind him and literally just tapped the stick and pulled the puck, turned, deked one guy and scored. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah, these young guys are super skilled. I mean, that's why, like we keep saying, like we're not really too worried about the Rangers because like these things can just turn around so fast. We got Hemlosh representing the Czech Republic in the world's come in the next couple of weeks, so that's exciting. And Will Borgen's representing USA.
Wow, I didn't even realize Borgen was a USA guy, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's exciting stuff for the young kids, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching the team because of that reason. And I mean, we're bringing Siobhan hopefully back on in a few minutes to talk about the Flyers, but they're another like young and up and coming team. Like you get into the playoffs and you get hot and you play under a good coach and you don't know what could happen. And I think the Rangers again.
Okay.
How we doing?
I'm back. I can hear you.
Okay,
Love
great.
it.
Okay, awesome. So, Siobhan, welcome back to the show. I mean, I already introduced you, so I'm not going to repeat what I have prepared here. I mean, anything new and exciting that you've been working on? Any articles you want to promote before we get into things?
I've been working through my big, like, long form articles now that we're doing the exit interviews. I published one on Matvei Michkov yesterday. His teammates had some intriguing things to say about him, as did Tocchet today. So that took me a long time, but I'm really proud of it. So that's like my big one right now.
And where could we read that?
The
Because I'd like to read that one.
Yeah.
On the Hockey News?
Mm-hmm.
So go to hockeynews.com and then there's like a Flyers tab, right? Or like a Philadelphia tab, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely check out that. And definitely a talented writer. But we're going to listen to you talk for this episode, Siobhan, and we're going to put a pin in the Michkov for now. You're going to join us for a little quick coaches corner that we do every week. And then we'll talk about him towards the end a little bit. But before we get into that, like, what are like the vibes around the season? I mean, like I said, we're not trying to chirp you, but both teams got swept. I mean, I guess the 76ers, and I'm not a big basketball fan. They were probably expected to go a little bit further than they did. The Flyers, on the other hand, exceeded expectations. So what are kind of those vibes right now going on around Philly?
I mean, the loss does sting. I think a lot of people thought that the Flyers had maybe at least one win in them in that series against Carolina. But what's been really interesting to see is not only are the fans a lot more like optimistic about the team, like, you know, at the end of game 4, they gave the team a standing ovation as they were going off the ice and saluting everyone. And I was expecting a lot more of a negative reaction because you just get swept and, you know, they did get outplayed by Carolina a lot. But immediately after, you know, the game was over, fans were on their feet. They were cheering. It was great. And when you hear the players talk about that series and talk about the season overall, there's that really optimistic vibe of, you know, it sucks that we lost. It sucks that we got swept. You know, no one wants to do that. But they're not satisfied that they made it to round 2 because they want more. They want to go further and they think that they can. But they recognize that it's a huge accomplishment for them to get as far as they did when people didn't have them making the playoffs at all. And, you know, they grinded out in that series against Pittsburgh. Anytime you beat Pittsburgh, you know, that's a win in itself. So, you know, they recognize that they're capable of doing more, but they're also really content with the fact that they were able to prove people wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they played Carolina tough. There was 1 or 2 overtimes. There were 2
overtimes. Yeah.
I mean, Carolina didn't blow them out. They were 4 competitive games. So, I mean, if I'm a fan, but I'm an older fan, so I'm a little more patient. I would be very satisfied with that series, playing one of the best teams in the league. And you're playing them. They were all 1-goal games pretty much, and they had the lead a few times. You know, again, like I just said before you came back on, I mean, these games, they can go either way. No team is like, you know, obviously they were swept, but I'm saying it's not that easy to sweep because it's a bounce here and there in overtime, and it could have been different. So they put up I watched all 4 games.
I wonder if Brendan Moore still feels the same way as he did last year. Didn't he say something? Was it last year, the year before? He was like, "Well, we didn't actually get sweeped. It wasn't really a sweep, but
Yeah.
they were close games, whatever." But yeah, like you were talking about before, how like the vibes around the city, and um, management sent out a letter to the fans, kind
Mhm.
of thanking them for their patience, I guess, and being there until the end and all that good stuff. I mean, I thought it was very nice that the fans didn't rush to their not rush to their cars, but leave right away. They stuck
Mhm.
around for everything after the game, and said, and had the Flyers chants and stuff. So like, what were your thoughts, or how did that letter land to you and like to the fans, I guess?
I mean, it was an amazing gesture by the front office, and I really appreciate how the front office goes out of their way to make the fans feel like they're part of the team. Because for a long time, there was a really big disconnect between the fan base and the team itself. And Danny Briere and Keith Jones and Dan Hilferty really made it a point to kind of bring those two back together. And, Philadelphia was so excited about the Flyers in a way that I can't really ever remember, the city being like. It's not called at Xfinity Live anymore, but there's like a bar right by the arena. I think it's called Stateside Live now, but that's where people go to like hang out and watch games and everything. And it was like packed to the rafters for these Flyers watch parties, and they would light the buildings up orange, and people were wearing Flyers jerseys and Flyers stuff. And these are people that will tell you, I can't name 5 players on the team, but I'm seeing how excited everyone is, and so you want to be a part of that. And I think that's a real testament to how they've built this team up and brought this team together. And so for the front office to really acknowledge that and express that gratitude, and Rick Tocchet and the players, thanked the fans, a whole lot for how they've supported the team throughout this season too. So I think it's just a really cool thing to see, these two groups kind of supporting each other after just years of it feeling like they were two kind of separate entities.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those watch parties are more fun than actually going to the game, being with those guys and like trying to just like not educate them, but like they always have like fun and interesting questions about the game and what goes on. Um, so yeah, Siobhan, like I said, you did mention Tocchet, so I think now's a good time to get into Coach's Corner. We do have a quick commercial that we got to play for our sponsors, but it's only a minute long, so hang in there. You might even get a laugh in there.
I
So we'll
hope
be
I
right
do.
back.
Don't laugh, Siobhan.
I won't. Pinky promise.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia, Marble Granite Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, come and see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go Rangers. All right, boys, bring it in.
Don't laugh.
You were a great actor. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Good. Well, this Coach's Corner, we want to talk about the Rick Tocchet era, and I think it officially began sneaking into the playoffs there and having a run, like we keep saying, over exceeding everyone's expectations. But we want to kind of discuss again more so of like him handling the skilled and younger players. So Coach had some observations and some questions for you. So Coach, what do you got?
Well, I was thinking, well, first of all, I was very stunned at the Michkov situation where he sat him that one. Did he sit him against Pittsburgh also, or just Carolina?
I think it was just Carolina that he
I
scratched
thought it was
him.
one game. Like, what was the feeling when that happened in the locker room with him, or if you could reveal anything that you felt like from other reporters we've talked to, they get like a vibe in the locker room.
Mm-hmm. With Michkov, he's such a competitive guy that that he's not going to be happy when he's not playing, and he'll tell you that firsthand. But Tocchet kind of explained it today, and it was more just kind of a tactical decision to try and, not get swept by Carolina. And, Michkov had, he didn't really have a good playoffs in general. Like his postseason production was just not where it needed to be. So it was kind of like, I don't want to say he was the easy choice, but if you're going to sit someone to try and shake up the lineup and try to get the offense going a little bit, it made sense to sit him. And I think that that Michkov understood that. The coaching staff is very communicative with the players. They always explain why they make certain decisions. So Michkov definitely wasn't excited about it. He doesn't like not playing, but he understands why it had to happen. And, he's the kind of guy where he uses that as motivation to just kind of get better, skate more, improve what he has to, so that he doesn't have to get scratched again.
I was just a little surprised because when I was going to ask about Porter Martone also.
Mhm.
Once he came into the limelight and he was successful early in the playoffs, Michkov went down to the third line. That's kind of a demotion for a high draft pick and someone with high expectations. And then he sat a game. So I'm thinking all hell's breaking loose between him and the coaching staff. But if you're telling me that you don't feel that's what was going on, then it's good to hear from a fan's point of view that he's not getting overly frustrated. Of course, you're going to get frustrated.
Yeah.
But he's taking it in, and hopefully he'll improve in the offseason and work towards September, which is pretty good to see. For your sake, not for my sake. I mean, I want it to blow up.
Hey, you got to watch out for that Martone kid, though. He's pretty good. So
I mean, that kid's got a name like he should be a professional golfer.
Yeah. Well, they call him Marty McFlyer now. That's his nickname, which is really cool. So I don't know if he's old enough to get that reference, but I think it's cool.
Wow. Yeah. Those first couple of games, he was pretty exciting. He caught everybody off guard. Kind of leveled out in the second series, but Carolina's tougher.
Yeah, and for a 19-year-old kid, the way that he made that transition immediately, like he came straight from Michigan State into the Flyers, and it's like he'd been there all season. And he's a great locker room guy. Like his teammates love him. He's constantly going to the veteran players and asking them for help and guidance. And they've got a really good like young group of guys too, and they all kind of hang out with each other. And he's a great player to talk to in general. Like usually when you get the younger guys, they can be a little awkward around the media, but he does it and he's great. So I think he's going to be really exciting once he gets like the full off season and hopefully a full NHL season under his belt.
All right, so that's exciting, but let's get back into the coaching situation with you're telling me how they're communicating well with the players. The big question is what went on with Trevor Zegras on the bench.
That I don't know exactly what was said, but Tocchet has said before that, he tries to figure out with his players. He understands that players need to be coached different ways. How you coach Travis Konechny is not going to be the same way that you coach like Matvei Michkov. So he understands that different players need different styles. And with Trevor Zegras, Tocchet has said a lot of times before, he's like, I know that I can give it to Trevor. I know that I can really just give him the business and I can kind of get in his face a little bit because Trevor can take it. So that, when that happened, it doesn't look great. It looks like, something's going on, but taking into context, Tocchet's been like, that's how Trevor likes to be coached. And that's how I get the most out of him. So, it's not like a John Tortorella situation where he's just yelling at guys because that's how he coaches everybody. With Trevor specifically, that's kind of how he likes to be coached. So I think that's more of what was going on there rather than Tocchet just kind of like yelling at him for the sake of yelling.
You're disappointing me, Siobhan, because everything's going too well over there.
I'm sorry.
All of our guests just bring the optimism and just
either that or you're very optimistic. I was just going to say that, but I mean that's interesting because that's the big secret in coaching. I learned over the years every kid is different, and you got to push. That's the secret. Joe Torre with the Yankees, all the famous good coaches had to push buttons with certain players and let certain players get away with things, and because they're fragile in certain situations. So it's good to see that Tocchet is maturing also as a coach, and especially in this era.
Yeah, and Tocchet's a big like player relationship guy. He was saying even today, he's like, we let the players come to us. We let them come to us and be like, hey, Toc, can I watch some video with you? Can I rewatch, this play that I messed up? And even if they're coming to him with a grievance on, hey, Toc, I don't think, you played me enough. I think I deserve more minutes. He's open to those conversations too. And the players know that, and they respond to that, and they have that really good open dialogue where they know that they can text him to watch video at practice, if they feel like they need it, and they can go to him and say like, hey, I don't agree with this decision you made. Let's talk about it. They're comfortable enough around him to have that conversation with him. And Tocchet was like, a lot of times like players will be right. I'm not afraid to admit when I did mess up as a coach and when I was wrong, so he's not too big to say like, oh, okay, the player's right. I messed up. Now I can learn from it. So he's very open-minded in the sense that he lets his players come to him, and he doesn't always have to be right. He doesn't always have to be like, the egotistical coach that has to be right all the time. He's like, I'm learning from my players are learning from me. And that dynamic is really working for the team. I think, especially after the Tocchet era, I think having Tocchet have that connection with them is really refreshing.
I mean, that's interesting because I used to always challenge my players with the college team that, we have video. You guys want to go over anything, let me know. And in 4 or 5 years, not one kid ever said, can we go over this?
Really?
I mean, in a one-on-one situation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But that's, as a coach, it's got to be a great feeling for him to say, let's do this. Why don't you do that? This is what the decision should have been here. I want, it's better for the team, So that's very interesting that he wants to give them that time. He's not sending him to a video coach. He's looking at it with some guy, which is
right.
Yeah.
Which is nice. That's a good relationship for sure.
Yeah, Siobhan, we went we've gone in depth into it about players like Artemi Panarin being great regular season players, and I mean maybe squeaking by in like the first round, second round ish of the playoffs, but then tailing off or disappearing, lack of a better word, towards the end. I was actually very impressed by Trevor Zegras this year. I think he turned it around a lot under a coach like Tocchet. And even in the first round of the playoffs, he stood out to me. But then, like, obviously, Carolina gets tougher. If you make it to the Eastern Conference Final, it gets even harder than that. Do you see Tocchet, like, pushing these players in that direction more? Or do you think, like, the Flyers should just target more of those types of players to protect the players like Zegras or Michkov? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. The playoffs this year were a little weird because so many guys had never played in the playoffs before. There were only 3 players on this current Flyers team that have had prior postseason experience. So it was kind of a learning experience for everyone. But Tocchet was saying, like, now that we have a taste of it and now that we know what it feels like and what it takes to win, they just want more of it. So they really like the group that they have. I do think that they're open to adding more guys if they can. Travis Konechny was talking about how he wants to make the Flyers a destination team. He was like, it was so cool that the fans kind of gave us the ovation that they did because other teams see that and they see like, okay, this is a place I want to be. They want to make the Flyers a destination team again. So I think they're definitely in that mindset of, okay, we know that we can make it at least to the playoffs. Maybe obviously you want to play for the cup every time, but I think they have that realistic expectation of like, okay, we got to just kind of take it, series by series and, whatever comes will come. But, they're focusing on just, they want more. They're not satisfied. And they're kind of, they're preparing for next season with the belief now that they can make the playoffs, because now that they prove that they can, it's like, all right, we got to be consistent with that now.
How was that stretch run fighting for the playoffs? It was back and forth, up and down. I know the Rangers beat them up pretty good that one game. Just had to
Yeah,
bring that up for you, but
that's okay.
um,
I had
how?
May hockey. I'm happy.
No, it was great to see them pull it out. But I was just curious, like, what's that feeling? The excitement every night, win, loss, win, win. You know what other teams are doing. The players must really get that. You know,
This
that
is your first
tenseness,
time
you
in the
know, that
playoffs too,
adrenaline.
right?
It is, yeah. This is my first time reporting on playoffs, and it's been very exhausting, especially because I was like driving back and forth from Pittsburgh, and that's not
Oh,
a fun
wow.
drive to make.
Wow.
But it was really, it was stressful for sure. And it got to the point where you don't want to keep asking players like the same questions about like, do you guys scoreboard watch? Like, all this stuff, because they're going to give you the same like generic hockey answers. They're going to be like, just focus on the next game, keep to the fundamentals, we believe in ourselves, all that. So, it kind of gets harder to write about it because you kind of feel like you're repeating yourself over and over again to a certain point. But the adrenaline of it was really nice because the last time they were in playoffs I was just like a fan, so to now be on the other side of it when they really made a big push and really kind of got the city back into hockey again was cool to see.
Yeah, so now that the season's over and looking ahead a little bit, like where do you think the Flyers go, like the management goes from here? I guess handling the Michkov situation, maybe targeting other players, like I said. I mean, their power play has been like, their percentage has been very low, bottom of the league the last couple seasons. Was obviously a big issue in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they build from within or go after somebody that would be able to put the puck in the net?
I definitely think that would be a focus for them if they are looking around the league, and I'm sure that they are. If you listen to Twitter, we're getting Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid and everyone. So, we'll see if that happens. But
Oh,
How you going to do that if the Rangers are getting them?
Yeah, it's on Flyers Twitter also.
I don't know. Maybe we can share him. You get custody of him one weekend, we'll get him the next weekend. It'll be great.
Or maybe
yeah,
get
I think
Evgeny
that they are
Malkin.
looking to add more. That would be something. That would be something.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. But no, I do think that they're trying to be more adding to the team. They've said before that they want to get out of the subtraction stage of the rebuild and really start building up the team. A lot of focus is going to go into the development of those young players. You've got really good foundations in Porter Martone, you got Denver Barkey, Alex Bump, and with Michkov, it sounds like they're really sticking by him, and they really do believe that, with just more maturity and experience and work, he can be the player that people want him to be. So I don't know how long of a leash he's going to get, but it sounds like for the time being, they're really sticking by him, and he's still their guy. So I don't know if we're going to see anything too dramatic in terms of trades and drafting and additions and all that, but I definitely think that they're kind of looking for those little pieces to really just finish off the team that they've already built, and hopefully someone who can be on the power play.
We got a quick question from the chat here. What are Siobhan's thoughts on Josh Hart's comments on Philly isn't a real sports town anymore?
I appreciate a good rivalry. I appreciate some good trash talk. I don't think that's a very fair assessment of Philly because some of the sports teams might not do well or perform well, the city still is 10 toes behind them, and they're still going to ride for them no matter what. And I think that's a really important component of a sports town because, those fans are there win, loss, winning the championship, or you're last in the league. So, once all the teams start playing well at the same time, I think that'll just be like the icing on the cake. But, I appreciate the trash talk. I don't agree with it.
Coach, did you see what that was from?
Super Bowl. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl. It's not.
But I'd like other teams besides the Eagles to win because I'm not that big of a football fan, so I can't. But
didn't the Phillies also win recently?
Somewhat.
The Phillies won back in 2008. That was
the last time they won already.
Wow.
They were in the World Series in 2022, but they didn't win. The last time they won was in 2008.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. I think what he was like getting at, Coach, was there was a lot of Knicks fans at the Wells Fargo Center. No, the Xfinity Center, right? It's called now.
Yeah, Xfinity Mobile Arena.
So I think that's where the trash talk was coming from, that the Flyers fans gave away or sold their tickets to Knicks fans. But yeah, obviously overblown as always. But great. Actually, that fan that just asked that, he actually works in Philly at
there you go.
where the Phillies play. I forget.
Citizens Bank Park.
Citizens Bank, yes. So anyway, Siobhan, before we let you go, we have two questions from our producers, Nick and Dom. They wanted to meet you quick and had a chance to ask a question. Dom actually played goalie in college, so he always asks the goalie question. So we're going to bring them on right now. Whoops.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What's up? So my questions got to do with Dan Vladar. I was really big fan of him during the playoffs. He had a .922 save percentage and a 2.18 goals against. I was thinking of what was the sentiment with him during the offseason, because Tocchet kind of praised him a lot. And I was thinking do you think he deserves an extension? And do you think he deserves to stay longer in Philly?
I absolutely do. You know, Dan Vladar was voted the team MVP this season. The guys really rallied behind him because he was such an emotional leader on the team. You know, so many players were like, I've never heard a goalie be that vocal and, you know, really fire the guys up the way that he did. And I think he also just played phenomenally. Like, he really dragged them through a lot of games. And I honestly don't know if they make the playoffs if their goaltending isn't what Dan Vladar made it. So... And especially since the Flyers have been hurting for a good goalie like that for such a long time, I say give him a blank check, and he needs to just stay in Philly forever. I don't want to let him go.
Definitely.
Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, so you and Coach had talked a little bit more about Porter Martone and everything. And even with this smaller sample size, I mean, he only played 9 games in the regular season and then the 10 for the Flyers in the playoffs. Do you, with that sample size, see him taking that next step into being a full-time NHL player, or should he start in the AHL with the Phantoms for a little bit and try to develop his game a little bit more?
I could understand if they send him down to the AHL. I wouldn't be mad about that decision, but he's such a mature player already, and he's shown that he can handle the pressure and he wants that full-time job, and that's what he works towards. You know, he's not even taking time off, you know, in the off season. He's going straight to Worlds with Canada. So he has that really good mindset. And I think as long as his play stays at the level that it's been at, especially in the regular season, I don't really see the need to send him down to the AHL right now. But if it looks like the load's getting to him, then I wouldn't be mad if that's what they decided to do.
Thank you.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to that. Siobhan, last year we were both at the rookie series, but we didn't get a chance to see each other. But we'll be there again. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see you there and see all these players and get excited about it. But I think it's time to take off my gritty hat.
I appreciate the effort.
It did its job for now until you come back again. But thank you so much for all your insight there.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. We'll definitely do this again. Of course, we'll have the rivalry tour before the season starts.
Yeah.
But other than that, enjoy your summer, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Thanks. You guys too.
Can you send me that article with highlights so I don't have to read the whole thing?
You want me to annotate it for you?
Coaches are much of me too. We're not much big
rate,
readers over
talk.
here. Can you do like an audio book for Coach? Like you read it?
I could. I'd be down to do that.
All right, maybe we'll put that on our network for you, and we'll make the big bucks for you. All right,
thanks
Siobhan,
so much, Siobhan. Enjoy the off season.
You too.
We'll talk to you later. All right, guys, good job there. Siobhan, thank you so much for coming on. Little Flyers insight. Definitely looking forward to the offseason and seeing what they have in store for us. And then, yeah, we'll definitely get into it with the rivalry tour and get another update from Siobhan. What do you guys think of the episode? You have any comments before we say goodbye? And I got something to announce for next week.
Awfully optimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm jealous.
Hey, we got some things to look forward to too, Dom. I mean, we'll have a nice off season with free agency, hopefully, and the draft and all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll get into that.
Market. The free agency market's very sparse from what they're talking about. There's not a lot. Charlie Coyle signing was one of the big ones.
Yep. You got to think that
There's not
Robertson's
much
going to
else,
re-sign in Dallas.
Who?
Robertson's got to re-sign in Dallas, right? He's a UFA. Guys,
He's
do you
the
know?
big one, yeah.
I don't know. Is he an RFA? I don't know if he's
I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, whatever. I mean, what I was going to say is we'll get back into some Rangers talk in the next couple weeks. Like I said, with the draft and the free agency coming up this summer, we'll stay with you guys. But next week, we got a fun episode for you guys. It's not going to be live. We're going to be recording it next week, so we'll probably release it the following week. We'll see how much work we want to put into it before releasing it. But we're going to do another Inside the Ranger Room episode. Coach and I will be joined by one of our original fans and friends of the show, my card agent and informant, Mike. You can find him on fan_of_new NY Rangers on Instagram and TikTok. That's fan_of_NY Rangers on Instagram and TikTok. We'll be opening and reviewing the packs from the Upper Deck New York Rangers Centennial Collector's Tin. I'm holding it up here. If you're not with us on YouTube, definitely check us out on YouTube. But Coach has one of his own. I got one, of course, for Christmas. And Mike's got another one. Yes, another one to open. He already opened one with his niece, Hannah. But he'll be opening up another one. He's been very patient, chomping at the bit a little bit to open it. And so have I. So yeah, like I said, guys, stay tuned for that. Probably in like 2 weeks, we'll be dropping that. And Mike is very knowledgeable of like the whole trading card world. So he'll be explaining to us like what's going to be inside this. There's like different boxes you can get. I know they sell one at the Garden that I bought. So he'll be explaining to us what the difference is between that one and this one, like the metal one, the aluminum one. And yeah, so looks like there's 15 packs in here, 9 cards per pack. So we'll rip through those. We'll have some fun. We'll have some banter back and forth, I'm sure. So stay tuned for the release date on that episode. And that one will only be found on YouTube. So if you guys don't subscribe or aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, definitely head on over there. Yeah, if you have a Gmail account, that's all you need to sign up for YouTube. So it's not like another subscription or anything. It's free. So head on over there to subscribe. It'll be a fun video. And Nick and Dom will be joining us too, I think, right?
Yes.
Is there bubble gum in each pack?
Coach, I don't know if these have bubble gum like they used to back in the day. Unfortunately not. They got to get back into that, though. Maybe get some more people. Oh, I'm sorry. Mike from the top ropes in the chat. He already opened 2. So this will be his 3rd. So, Mike, thanks for joining us tonight in the chat. What are you going to say, Coach?
There was also, I got 2 separate packs. I gave you one of them. You got that pack, right?
Yes, I didn't open. Yeah, I didn't open that one yet.
I don't know what that was. It just came with that.
Yeah, well, definitely. That might have been like from the card store.
Yeah, I don't know
what they were giving away as a promotion, but we'll check that out as well. So if you guys have any other questions or have questions for us for that episode, shoot us a message on Instagram or any of our socials. Like I said, it won't be live; it'll be recorded. Yeah. Other than that, anything else to add, guys?
Just real quick, so we have our information all set up. Jason Robertson is a RFA at the end of this year.
Okay. Thank you, Nick.
So that means Dallas can match any offer.
Yep.
Correct. Yes. Or they get first chance offer or whatever.
Guys, anything exciting you saw in the playoffs in this past week? One little I have something that was pretty cool. You guys see anything you want to just mention that got you out of your seat a little?
Tonight's the elimination game for Colorado and Minnesota. It's 3-1. So if Minnesota could keep squeaking out wins, maybe they can get by. But I'm really liking that series so far.
Minnesota's winning 3-1 right now.
No, Avalanche are up in the series 3-1, and the game starts at 8.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Minnesota can hang on.
I meant like a specific play or something. You got anything, Nick?
No, not that I saw.
Hopefully we won't be moving Minnesota or Avalanche to the next round yet. But everyone who's watching on YouTube, my little playoff board there. Thanks to Bob for making that last video. Hell yeah. The cool one. So if you guys, anyone wants one of those before the playoffs are over, definitely hit me up. Coach, what do you got? I feel like you want to say
one more thing before we go. Last night's game, Weeks, he went nuts.
Him and Butcher Gross are great. I actually, before you go, it's weird that they're not in the booth together.
Why? That's what Ferraro does.
Okay, fine. It's weird that ESPN does that. That like the play-by-play guy's alone upstairs, and then they got the color guy down on the benches.
Yeah, that's what
it's usually two guys up top and one guy in between the benches.
No, Ferraro's down low.
Well, for TNT, I'm saying they usually have like Eddie Olczyk in between the benches, or maybe he's up, whatever. Like Brian Burke is usually there, right? Is it Brian Burke or no?
No, Boucher.
But yeah, there's usually more guys, is what I'm saying. It must be a little difficult for them to like be able to go back and forth if they're not sitting next to each other.
Yeah, I remember saying that when we were in Florida because they were doing the pregame and like Ray Ferraro was just staring across the ice.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, I mean, it's got to be hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking, I'm looking at you as I'm talking. He's just sitting there looking at like a spot in the glass across the ice. You know, it's got to be a strange feeling to get used to.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, on the Ducks' first goal last night, the puck was rimmed around behind the net on the offensive zone, around the boards along the yellow. Forget what they call that all the time. And the Ducks player put his stick toe down, heel up in the air, and picked it off the wall like that. Turned and made the pass for the goal.
It was my God, who was it?
The guy Seneca scored.
Was it Cutter Tocchet?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. I think it was. I mean, Weeks went nuts, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Yeah, he went.
No, I know. I saw it. The replay. I even said to Lindsay, "You got to see this." I know exactly what play you were talking about. And I was thinking, I got to try that. I don't know how. That's like a weird way to accept the puck off the wall.
I mean, that puck's got to be coming perfect. I'm sorry.
Did you guys see that play or no?
I didn't see it.
I did not. Honestly,
so like,
I thought we were going to.
It's going to be hard to explain on a podcast, but like the puck got rimmed around the boards. He's a lefty, and he was on like the right wing going on offense, right? So like he came around as a lefty, turned his stick over, so like the blade of his stick is like flat up against the sidewall like this.
Toe down, heel up.
And accepted the puck off the wall while facing like the defensive zone, and like accepted the puck and like spun around, and it was like perfect pass to Seneca wide open in front. It was like, wow. It's never been done before almost. It was crazy. But yeah, Weeks went nuts. You guys got to see the replay. And if you guys if anyone's listening, I'm sure if you guys know what I'm talking about, but definitely check that out. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, when I clip that, when I clip it for the socials, I'll put that on the clip. The actual.
I'm definitely gonna try that for our roller hockey game when I have to dangle Dom and Nick.
Dude, it's been a while. I can't
even get my kids to put their skate against the wall, kick it out to their stick. This guy's turning his stick right over.
I got a question for you, Coach, because this was a problem in college and in high school for me. Whenever I played. Guys don't want to use their skates anymore. You find that a big problem? Like they don't want to use anything. Like they won't like use their body anymore to like move somebody and get it with their skate. They're always trying to like dangle it with their stick and try to be like very much finesse. Is that like a problem with you, coach, for your players now?
Yeah, they're all trying to, because they're all watching these guys the whole era with Zegras and all these guys doing the Michigan. That's all you hear on the bench. If we're winning like 5-1, anybody scores with a Michigan, that beers are on me. I'm like, finish the game, box out, play the game, play strong. They all want to be that highlight reel guy, and the team, and again, playoffs, even at our level, playoffs, nationals, the teams that win are the teams that go 100% and beat the hell out of you. It's hockey. If you don't buy into that, you're not going to be successful at any level.
Yep, without a doubt.
The big thing that's going on now is these reverse hits. If you guys noticed,
yeah,
making the hit before they're boxing the guy out before they're at the puck. I've been trying to show my guys that for 3 years, showing them videos, sending them clips. Maybe one guy does it that I've seen. It's like it's a thing. I'm watching games. Every NHL team, most of the guys are doing it. They're getting the position, then they're able to look up and make the play. They're hitting the guy, boxing him out, and getting the puck. They're not even going at the puck. But it's just one of those simple little things that makes the offensive zone forecheck very successful. I mean, even on the defensive zone, good defensemen are doing that a lot. They're bumping the guy, boxing him out, then going 2 steps to get the puck. That's all I got to say.
No,
I'm not a fan of toe dragging, Nick. Dom.
I was gonna ask how you feel about the notorious the no look passes that every single Ranger has to do on the power play.
Well, I mean, the no look pass isn't bad because you're trying to deceive the goalie, right? You're trying to get the goalie to focus on you. So if you're going no look across the crease, he's already committed to you, and his muscles are tense, and he's set that way. It's hard for him to make a secondary move. I don't mind the no look pass. I mean, that's a what do you call it? That's a deception play to me. To me, the big plays of that are the indirect passes off the wall that Kreider used to do and take off and stuff like that. All those little things in the speed game that it is now, take a little nuances that make it successful. That's how you have to deceive the other team.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, good episode. Nice quick one for you. Keep the off-season fun and fresh. So stay tuned on all of our socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or X, for the announcement for our next episode. Other than that, let's go Rangers. And as always, let's go Rangers, Ed. Love you guys.
Rangers, Ed.
Let's go.
Love you guys. Have a good night. Let's go Minnesota.
Let's go Zuki.